Hey, this is a short video. I don't know, it's about 5 or 8 minutes. Kind of a compilation of 4 days. It's kind of my first longer trip on motorcycle. I had a business event in Denver and decided to extend my trip by 4 days and rent a motorcycle and go through the Colorado Rockies. Wow, it was really incredible. You'll see some of the photos as we go. My best friend was the avoid highways setting on the Google Maps. I started in Denver, went south, avoided I-70 and went up into Idaho Springs. And man, I probably every 5 minutes, every 15 minutes, I wanted to stop the bike and take pictures. I mean, a lot of times I did. Just because it was so breathtaking to me coming from Phoenix. It's 115 degrees this time of year and getting into the cool weather and these mountains. It's just incredible. This first hotel was horrible. It was just the worst, the worst possible hotel. You see there it's 56 degrees, man. But it did have one kind of saving grace, and you'll see it here in a moment. The river flowing right outside of this really cheap motel. There really wasn't much to choose from in Idaho Springs. It was a very cute town, very friendly people, and about every 5-10 minutes, people would be going by, on those rafting trips down the river. And I knew it was going to rain during these 4 days. Colorado had a lot of high heat and then a bunch of rain. And fortunately on day 2, I just had a beautiful ride. I started on I-70, but took this detour into some of the ski areas, Arapahoe Basin, Keystone, near Breckenridge, and I had no idea what was in store. I mean, this thing just kept on climbing above the tree line. It's so beautiful. Kept on getting colder and colder. I did not bring my winter jacket. I just had a summer riding jacket. And all of a sudden, I come around the corner here. There's all these people. I'm like, what is going on? I mean, there was just nobody on the roads at all. It's just perfect riding situation. And then you get up here, and of course, this is where everybody is, just taking in these views, which is really, really incredible. And man, at that point, I was hooked. Another thing sort of clicked at this moment, which is I have to bring my kids back here. My Aunt Sharon, who ultimately I'm looking and going to visit on this trip on the 4th day, has lived in Colorado for a lot of years, but I haven't been able to get over to see her, so I'm going to see her on the 4th day here. And now I'm realizing I got to bring my kids back to Colorado. So that's Arapahoe Basin, and Keystone's right near here, I believe. There was another woman painting such a beautiful spot, so she was nice enough to take some photos. And I already asked my son Hudson, who loves skiing, do you want to go to Colorado? He was very excited. We normally just ski at Snowbowl. He will not know what hit him when we get to Colorado, just how long the runs are and so a lot of the rest of the ride here to Glenwood Springs on the 2nd day was on I-70. Ultimately, wanted to go to the hot springs in Glenwood Springs, which I did, Iron Mountain Hot Springs, and stayed with a friend right on the river. Just a beautiful area. That's Otis. And the Roaring Fork River, which apparently is the largest tributary, or second largest, flowing west off the Continental Divide. So you can see the rain there, day 3. I hit it. Wasn't fun. I'm a pretty new rider to the street. I used to ride in the rain all the time on my dirt bike, but not going 70 on a highway. And even when it's raining like this, I don't go 70. At least on an unfamiliar bike, on unfamiliar roads, and just visibility, everything else. I tried to avoid the rain as much as I could, but you'll see it was inevitable. So the last day was 9 hours to get over to Aunt Sharon, over to Colorado Springs, and started out beautifully here in Aspen. I mean, what's there not to like about Aspen? It's just so incredibly gorgeous. You've got farmers markets. I wanted to spend hours there, but I already knew I had about a 6-hour ride that turned into about a 9-hour ride, and I just had to get on the road. And this was through Independence Pass. Man, this is just gorgeous. You see, it narrows down to like a 1-lane road. And again, I wanted to stop so often to take a hike, to sit and enjoy the river. It's just gorgeous. I slowed this down so you can see after every turn there's just another amazing view and more scenery. You can see the river down there on the right. Just incredible beauty through this pass. And I had, I knew where I wanted to go. I had heard about these gorgeous bike rides, motorcycle rides through Independence Pass. Well, I didn't really know what to expect, and was just in awe most of the time. I mean, through my headset and my helmet, have like Dead Can Dance playing, riding the motorcycle through this sort of terrain was just gorgeous. And then I had no idea I was going to hit or go through the Continental Divide. And this high point, this is the highest continuous paved road in the U.S. Mount Evans is the highest paved road, and that was closed a day later because of the rain. I don't know if the photos capture it here, but if you've ever been to this spot, man, it's really breathtaking. You could feel everybody that was there just had this certain energy of being in nature and experiencing this environment that puts things into perspective. These 10-mile-per-hour hairpin turns also put things into perspective. So I took it very slowly on a rented bike. And then ultimately, I still had about 4 or 5 hours left at this point, and it just started raining and just never stopped. It just kept on raining and raining and raining. This is Twin Lakes. I'm sitting here thinking, should I stay somewhere, or should I keep going? Really wanted to stay the night with my Aunt Sharon, so I decided, I'm just going to fuel up here in Buena Vista. Had a great lunch, got some tea and caffeine in me, and as I'm doing that and preparing to leave, I get these flash flood warnings from the National Weather Service. So I'm looking at these clouds again and thinking, I don't know, am I gonna go ride in the rain? Then I get a text from my friend in Glenwood Springs that they just had a huge mudslide on I-70. Traffic's closed going both ways. I barely missed that. My GoPro battery's dead, so I could only take a few photos, and I just powered through. It was cold. I was not used to this at all. I didn't have winter gear. I didn't have much rain gear. My gloves were not the right gloves to be riding. My hands were just frozen. My feet were great. I had great boots on, but my hands were frozen. It was 48, so when you're going 70 or something, I don't know what the wind chill is, like 40, 30 something, I don't know. So just kind of powered through and made it to Aunt Sharon about 9 hours later. And it was just wonderful to stay with her for a day. The rest of that evening, stayed the night, and then the next morning meet some of her friends there. She's almost 80 and still traveling. She has a 1.5 long trip through Mongolia coming up in a few months. So day 4 was really a simple ride, Colorado Springs to Denver. Of course, a ton of traffic on the 25, so that took forever. And then was fortunate enough to get invited to go to the Red Rocks, and I didn't know it was a park as well as the theater. I mean, I know the amphitheater, I didn't know the park. And man, it just really floored me. I was so glad we made it over here and saw this area. It's only about 30 minutes outside of Denver. You see the downtown buildings on the left. And I can't wait, either to go back and ride again in Colorado or Glacier National Park in Montana.